Hey guys, it's me again, EndUser2090 coming at you, and I wanted to discuss something that's been kind of bothering me. And I was thinking, should I say something about this? I don't want to ruffle any feathers, and I'm not a very popular kind of guy. And secondly, no one watches my YouTube videos, but I am subscribed to a gentleman by the name of AlphaOmegaSin. And although his particular genre he's interested in, the death metal scene, it's really not something I'm interested in, but some of the subject matter that he discusses are of interest to me. And most of the time he talks about video games and news relating to releases of games and such. And the other day he mentioned something about a gentleman by the name of Rajan Zed rather. The thing is that I found this information very bizarre and shocking because, it's like worlds are colliding, you know what I'm saying? Worlds are colliding, Jerry. In this particular game that's coming out by Shin Megami Tensei, there is a character by the name of Lord Krishna who is representative of the Hindu god Krishna, and was found to be very offensive the way that Lord Krishna was being portrayed. And a lot of people, they jumped all over this Rajan Zed guy because, he seems like a fanatic or whatever. Now, to be honest, I don't know very much about Rajan Zed. He could very well be a nutcase or a fanatic or anything about it, but within the confines of this particular issue, I don't see why people are being so outraged regarding his take on this whole Lord Krishna thing. He evidently wrote a letter or tried to contact Sega regarding the particular offenses that he found within this facet of the game. And he mentioned that it's offensive that Lord Krishna is portrayed as a brown fellow wearing modern clothing and a fedora cap, representative of some kind of gangster from like the 30s, like Al Capone, these concepts that he discussed are not fanatical by any means. It may sound fanatical, but they're not. Imagery is very important within the structure of Hindu philosophy. Most Hindu, or rather Sanatan Dharmic denominations, find imagery very important because as Hindus we do pray to murtis, statues, deities, and the way that these deities are made have to be within a certain parameter or specification with respect to the scriptures. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, fuck Hinduism and fuck whatever, well, I can't really say anything to sway your mind. If your mind is in the gutter, then it's in the gutter, and I'm just a guy telling you how I feel. Whenever there is imagery involved within a Hindu character or a Hindu god, it's within the confines of something in particular in the scripture. And when you deviate from that, it's offensive. So to go totally off board and show Lord Krishna, in modern attire with a fedora cap, that's way overboard. As a Hindu, and if you believe in Hinduism, you do find that to be weird and offensive. Now, if you're not a believer, you're just like, oh, it's a bunch of Hindu mambo jumbo and this and that. You're never going to understand that. And the comments that I see posted on the video, people are just like, he's a fucking fanatic. There's nothing that he said that's fanatical. That is a fundamental belief within Sanatan Dharma. If you ask any Hindu that, and if they're not aware of it, then they're going to be like, whatever, well then you're not really, you're not really Hindu. Something important to note is that Hinduism is not the same as Christianity or other belief systems. It's not. There's a lot of, for lack of a better word, there's a lot of superstitions that are involved in Hinduism. Customs, things that are particular of our culture. Certain things are offensive, like if you have religious paraphernalia, texts, musical instruments, images of God. You're not supposed to place your foot on these things because the feet are considered dirty, right? In certain mandirs or temples, they observe the fact that you're not supposed to face your back toward God or the deities that are being worshipped. The deities, they're supposed to be kept clean. Any imagery of God, right, has to be kept pure. These are fundamental core concepts of Hinduism. It's not that we're fanatics. That's just the way it is, right? If you have a cross, you're not supposed to turn the cross upside down. It means something totally different. Now, to somebody that doesn't know it, like a little kid that's like playing with the cross, maybe they found it somewhere, you take that away from them because you're not supposed to do that. Whether or not you agree with it, that's your belief. Now, according to this guy, whom, I really don't know, he could be a friggin' pedophile for all I know. I don't know anything about him. But whatever he said in relation to what's going on in the game, I don't see anything fanatical with what he said. Rajan Zed's message to Sega, to me personally, it doesn't seem anything like it's fanatical or that it'll cause harm to anyone, right? If he said something to Sega like, oh, I'm going to cause you physical harm, I'm going to send my buddies after you if you don't change this, okay, that's crazy, like, okay, I can understand where you want to like curse him out and carry on. All he said was that, listen, I'm Hindu, and X, Y, and Z I find offensive, could you kindly take it out? They don't have to listen to him, right? And in AlphaOmegaSin's video, AlphaOmegaSin is constantly saying, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, Why? You are preaching that there should be freedom of speech, right? He has the freedom to say whatever he wants in relation to what's being released. He just sent a letter. Why should he shut the fuck up? I thought it's a free country. He has a right to say, listen, this is offensive. They have a right to say, listen, we'll do whatever we want. That's the beauty of it. You could say whatever you want. So why should he shut the fuck up? I don't consider it censorship because he didn't send a letter to President Obama saying, listen, you need to ban this game for X, Y, and Z reasons, right? He didn't send a letter to the President of Japan saying, listen, you need to censor this immediately or else. He sent a letter to Sega. He's the head of some kind of organization, some kind of Hindu organization, and that's the kind of things he does. How do I personally feel? I feel like it's weird. It's weird. And I'm not really a fan of that genre, those games. I'm not, into RPGs or anything like that. But for me personally, I think it's weird. And, I grew up in America. I'm born and raised here. I've seen things way more offensive on television regarding Hinduism. And it's funny that, to me personally, I think like Hinduism in this country, it's like a joke, you know what I mean? And it's weird to outsiders who don't really understand it. They just think it's a bunch of cockamamie animal worship kind of weird shit, And some of the comments are like, go fuck a cow. It's like, okay, really? It's ignorance, Why is it that they're not targeting other belief systems or other nationalities, races, ethnicities? Because these other folks stand up for themselves, and it's kind of funny that as a Hindu you don't really see these kind of outcries going on, right? Now you can argue that they in the media and certain cartoons and stuff they make fun of everyone gets made fun of. No, it's not true. I see that more often it's with the Hindu stuff, the Indian stuff. It happens very often because there is no public attention toward these kind of issues. And I don't know anything about Rajan Zed or anything. He could be a cult leader for all I know. I don't know anything about him, but at least he is directing attention to some of these issues. And I've read online some other stuff that happened where he held a puja or a worship in some kind of public space there, a state municipal building of some sort. And everyone was like, oh my God, the fucking pagan, oh my God. This is the time that we live in. I'm from New York. This is being in New York is very diverse and whatever. People really don't give a shit about anything except money. And it is what it is. I think if people had more of an open mind and try to realize what's going on in other kind of cultures, other kind of religions, then there wouldn't be an outcry where you're going to say, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck, Why? Why is it that this guy is saying this? You know, you ever thought critically, maybe he's not fanatical, right?